Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.
Yeah, that's a good point, Randy. And that's, again, I'm in touch with investors so often where they say to me, Steve, how about if I do this spread to make a guaranteed $50? And I always say to them, well, who's guaranteeing it? And the answer is, my chart is, and the chart isn't really guaranteeing it. Right?
That's right, and those kind of trades typically have about a 90% probability of making money, but it's amazing how often that 10% seems to come up when you put those things on. So you got to always weigh that. You got to weigh those. Don't just weigh the profit to loss. Weigh the probability of profit to the probability of loss. And if the two come out to where you're comfortable with it, then it may make sense.
And Randy, I think that you did such an eloquent job in presenting these credit spreads, the idea of risk and reward, how you select them. Not only that, but the fact is that you had two that looked. You obviously thought all four were going to work, but two didn't. And like you were saying, the emotional part of trading is really what's going to set us apart from one trader to the next, and the credit spreads sort of allow you to manage your emotions better.
I completely agree. That's one of the reasons I like the spreads, is because here's the thing: if at the moment you set up this spread, you know what your max loss is. Worst case scenario, if that's a number that you can deal with emotionally, then you can put the trade on and you don't have to worry anymore, because you know what the worst case is up front. You know that it's a number you can live with, and you can put them on. I travel a lot, Steve, kind of like you do sometimes. I put on spreads a lot because I know that I might be on an airplane the day after tomorrow or next week or in a meeting with a client or in a client presentation, and I don't need to be worrying about it. I know what my max gain is or my max loss, and if I can deal with that, then I'm comfortable. I can put these things on. A lot of times I may not look at them for a week or two. So it helps you get your emotion out. You're absolutely right.
I think one last question from Lee. Randy, when would you use iron condors? Do you like iron condors? And when would you do that rather than just doing the credits, the one side of the spread?
Okay, so it's a great question. An iron condor is just a much more complex version of what we're talking about here. And iron condors are great trades because you have the same sort of characteristics where you've got a maximum gain and a maximum loss, and you've got it all figured out. The concept of an iron condor goes back to the example I was giving earlier, which is historically the S&P 500 moves more than 5% only about 10% of the time each month. So you've got about a 90% likelihood that it's not going to move more than 5%. So if I do an iron condor where my wing legs, they call them, out to the upside and the downside are more than 5% away, the odds are maybe 90% that it's not going to hit them. But the reason I do it as a condor as opposed to, say, like a short strangle is that what about those black swan events? What about those Februaries of 09 and those Novembers of 08 when it moves 5 standard deviations, which it did? Those are the days where the iron condor doesn't work out. In other words, you lose money, but you don't get wiped out, because the iron condor is basically a spread in both directions at the same time. We did an example here where we did a credit spread one way, bullish, and we did a credit spread bearish. If you combine the two together, you're basically taking the middle and you're betting that's not going to go either direction. That's essentially what the iron condor allows you to do. It's a great trade. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit more complicated, and for people who aren't real familiar with options and haven't done a lot of spreads, it may be a little bit more difficult to understand. But it's a wonderful trade. The point is, when you do the iron condor when you don't have a directional bias. In these examples, I had a bullish bias on my first 2 examples. I had a bearish bias on my second 2 examples. If I just know that the dollar is going to go somewhere, but I don't have any idea which direction, or I don't think it's going anywhere, I think it's just basically going to sit still, then I might do the iron condor and grab the premium and then just sit tight.
Well put, Randy, really was. I would like to just let you make a few closing comments. I want to thank you again on the behalf of the ISE for putting a lot of time into this presentation, but why don't you just give us some closing comments, and then we'll close up the webinar.
Okay, well, as you can see by this slide, the ISE offers 6 different currency pairs, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you guys have a few more in the works potentially that'll be released at some point in time. currencies are an interesting thing, and it used to be that you had to trade spot currencies, and frankly, the spot currency market is a little shady. It's not very regulated, if at all, and there are a lot of sort of firms that just pop up overnight that'll offer you the ability to trade spot currencies. I would caution you against that. It's something you need to be very sure that before you do it, that you understand what you're getting into. Some of these firms will offer trading at no commissions. Well, I can tell you they're not working for free. If they're offering you trading at no commissions, they're making money on you somewhere, and you don't know exactly where that's at and how that's working. So you better be real careful about that. The beauty of the ISE product, and really any regulated exchange traded currency product, is that it's regulated and it's exchange traded, and the risk is taken, the sort of the counterparty risk or the systemic risk is all taken out of it. It's cleared by a central clearing agency, in this case the Options Clearing Corporation. What you're seeing is a true, authentic, transparent marketplace. So if you're going to trade it, I really think that this is a better way to do it, in all honesty. So I would certainly encourage you to do it that way. But credit spreads in general, I think I've made my case pretty good about why I like credit spreads. The risks of naked trading is just, in most cases, they don't justify the potential slightly larger profits that you might make. You want to be able to sleep at night. You want to be able to go away from your computer for a couple of days and not have to worry about the potential that if something crazy happens, you get killed. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the next time a major economic event. No one expected the magnitude of the implosion that we had last fall or this spring to happen. I mean, we all knew there were some problems out there. No one thought it would be as severe as it was. Those kind of things can happen, and who knows when it's going to happen. It'll happen when you got that big, fat, naked trade out there, so be careful of that.
Well put, Randy. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. The presentation was straightforward and getting a lot of comments, all positive, that, the investors, the attendees thought that it just makes sense that you, within 45 minutes, you explain something that sometimes some folks can't explain in 2 or 3 hours. So thanks again, Randy. Really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure, Steve, and I'm sure I'll be back probably in a month or two and do another session, so I'll be looking forward to that.
You're always welcome back. Absolutely, Randy. We'll schedule as soon as we can, and really looking forward to it. Randy, of course, is the Director of Trading at Derivatives, and please, guys, if you have any interest, please go to Schwab, and he did a great job. A lot of you are saying that you love the graphics, and they have a lot of functionality. There's much more to offer at Schwab, so go and check it out. Go to schwab.com, and you can look up more about anything you need there. Randy, thank you so much. Everyone can see that we have a lot of webinars coming up. Jack Crooks will be talking more about the U.S. dollar and China, what's going on tomorrow. But if you're interested in this presentation today, and Randy's given probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 in the last 18 months or so, you can go to www.ise.com/archives and listen to all of Randy's presentations. So I'd urge all of you to do that. Randy, thanks again.
My pleasure, Steve.
Have a great night, and have a great trading day tomorrow, Randy. So you're on the road in a couple of days, I assume. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, we're going to be doing a seminar, an option seminar in Minneapolis, and then I'll be doing another one in Indianapolis after that. So a lot of good things out there. If you want to find out about some of the training things that are available, go to the Schwab website. There's also a lot of educational content, articles and stuff on how to do all sorts of different option trading. I've been writing those for years and years, and available on the schwab.com website. So take a look at those.
Thanks again, Randy. So, guys, schwab.com, please go and check it out. Randy's written dozens and dozens of articles. He's written books. Go and check it out. Very straightforward, but very bright. And he's just very straightforward. Thanks again, Randy. Really appreciate it. On behalf of the ISE, this is Steve Meisinger saying that we just appreciate everyone coming, spending your last hour and a half here at the ISE. We want to thank Randy again. Tomorrow we have Jack Crooks with us talking about what's going on with China, risk and reward benefit to the global currency market, but we have so much at the ISE. Of course, you can go learn more about what Schwab has to offer in all of Randy's articles at schwab.com. Randy, thanks again, and have a great trading day tomorrow, everyone. On behalf of the ISE, this is Steve Meisinger saying have a great evening. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.isc.com/podcasts.